In this video, I will show you how to use a lit shader. So this is a basic shader of Unity. You have it in HDRP and URP. So first, you have a file called all zip in Brightspace. So you can download it. Me, I will use it for my example, but actually you can use any other object. So I will drag and drop in my project, in my assets. Okay, it should be here. Okay, so inside I have an object. Actually, this object is from V-Ray. This is what they give in their tutorial. And inside there are a few texture. Okay, so this object is a FBX object. So what I'm going to do, I copy this file here. Okay, so he's not in the good direction, so I will turn him in this direction, and I will also create a plane to see his shadows. I will put the plane at 0. Okay, so this object, this all is small. I think it's around 30 centimeter. Okay, that's why it's so small in this plane. The plane by default is 10 meters. Okay, it's not 1 meter like many primitive. Okay, so it looks okay. Perhaps I will turn a bit the sun. No, it's okay. The problem here is, of course, you see the shadow has a very bad quality. So I'm going to select the sun and I will increase first the quality. Here there is only one object, so I can really put a ultra quality. But as you can see, it's still very blurred. It's still very blurred because if you remember a previous video, I have an angular diameter that I can change, and when I make it smaller, when the source of light is smaller, in this case the quality is better. Okay, so we will see here it's a bit pixelated, but we will work on that later. So here, yeah, I can use this quality, it's okay. So yeah, here the quality of this shadow is not good. It will depend of the size of your scene or size of your object. With this small object, the quality is not good enough for the shadow. Not enough details. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in the sky and fog volume. You remember this is the post-processing, and inside we can add a control on the shadow. Actually, this shadow we can control here in the project settings, but it's a bit complicated. It's really easier to click on Add Override, and here I will click on Shadow. Okay, so here this shadow, I will change the maximum distance, because here, as you can see, he calculates the shadow at 500 meters, but this scene is super small. So if I reduce this size, it's like the clipping plane on the camera. If I reduce it to 10 meters, immediately the quality is better because he calculates only at 10 meters. So the sampling that he do of the space is not on 500 meters but 10 meters only. And immediately this is good. It could be even better. Why not? I know that I will not have any other object there. I can, why not reduce it? Okay. And here, so you see an artifact here, we will work on it, and if I reduce it, you will see more and more details on the shadow. Okay, so this one we can, why not keep it like that? But you see, if I go forward, backward, and here we have very weird things, so perhaps I will start with 10. So that this is because of the show cascades. So it's because this software is a video game software. Okay, so what's happening in video game, if the object is close, we do a high quality of shadow, but progressively, if the object is far, the shadow quality will not be so good, but it's not a problem because it's far. Okay, so it's like the LOD, if you know a little bit the LOD for the modeling. So here it's a problem. So if I click on show cascade, I see the different area with different resolution. So of course the first resolution, okay, this first area is a high resolution. It go only at 50 centimeter. So what I will do, I will control that, okay, and I will push this cascade further, okay. So now I will turn that off, and here I have a good quality of shadow. Okay, so I can go back perhaps to 5 meter. I will turn a little bit the sun. Yeah, and here my shadow is correct. Okay, so you still can readjust this value, and of course the value here and this one. Okay, so this one perhaps now I can make it small, not too small. Okay, so our object is ready to create the shader. So actually this object comes from this FBX, and what's happening is in this FBX there is a shader, okay, but this shader by default you cannot load it, okay. It's still in the FBX and it didn't extract it. So I showed you in a previous video, if you want to extract it, you just select your object, and here in material you can extract the material. But why to extract this material which was created in Maya? It's much better to create your own Unity material because it will be more optimized. Okay, so here let's create this material. What I do, I have a material folder, but here I will just create a simple material just for this hole. Okay, so I will create a folder, call it materials. Actually I will put inside the texture, okay, and now in this material folder I create a new material and I call it mat hole. Okay, so now I can assign it to the hole. You see the hole is very bright, okay, because by default this material is white. So if you check at the top of the material here, you see the material is a HDRP lit material. So this is a by default material of HDRP. This is the most optimized, okay. So it's good to work like that by default. We will see in another video another material where we can work more in details of the shade on the shader. So this one I already showed it to you in a previous video. So what we can do, of course, this is to change the color. Never put a pure white color or pure black color. Okay, so if you want something white, actually in our real world it's never pure white. So you can put that, or I will even make it a bit darker. Okay, so here we have that. We have the smoothness. So smoothness is it shiny or matte? Okay, so this is the opposite of roughness that you can have in other software. Okay, so here this is shiny. And metallic, is it metallic or not? Okay, so here if I push it at the maximum it becomes a chrome. If I push that at the maximum it's also a chrome. Okay, so here I will not put any metal. Sometimes we put a little bit. I could, why not change the color to see a little bit better the shininess. Okay, so that you know already that. For the color map, okay, or perhaps I will start with the normal map first. We will see it better if there is no color map. So in this folder we have a few texture. This one, so they have been prepared for this hole. So what I will do, you will see there will be a problem, but I show you first. I will take this old soil, I don't know which one I was using, so perhaps old soil, and I copy it here in this small square near normal mapping. So I give this normal map to my object, and as you can see the result is pretty weird. It should not do that. If I select this normal map, if I double click, it will open it. So it's just simple lines like that, and me it give a very weird result with some kind of weird reflection. So when you have that, it's because you forgot to change a parameter on the normal map. On the normal map, you must select this normal map and say to Unity, no, this is not a texture that I will use as a color, it's a texture that I will use as a normal map. Why to do that? Because it will be able to optimize it, okay, for real time. So here, it's not default, it's normal map. And I apply. And now it works, okay? I will do the same on this one. Normally you have to do it when you import the texture immediately. Normal map, apply, okay? And here I can check with the other. Oops, I made a mistake. I will select that, change of normal map, okay? And here we see that it works perfectly, okay? So after normal map, of course, but you can adjust here the intensity, okay? What next? Here, normal map, yeah, we can do something now. There is a tiling here that you can change. So it's like repeating the UVs in Maya. So I will put a strong normal map, you will see better. So here, if I put a tiling of 3 by 3, it will just repeat the texture 3 times, so it will become smaller, okay? So that you know this thing already. So it's called the tiling in Unity. Okay, so now I'm going to remove this normal mapping, so I can put it at 0, but even at 0 it's still loading this texture. So if I'm sure I don't need it, what I can do is just to click on the small circle here. I can select any texture of the software, but here I will just write none, and it will show me the texture none, so it's no texture. I double click and we have no more texture. So now we can put, why not, a color texture. So here on the base map I can drag and drop this one here, okay, and we have the color texture. But as you can see, it's very pink because I still have this color here. So what I can do, this color actually is working now as a filter. So if I want to use exactly the mapping, I will just put it white, okay? And here we have our shader, okay? I will create a new material. We never know, perhaps I could need this one for another video. I will create new material and I will call it matte glass, okay? I want to make this object transparent, which is a bit tricky with real time, so you will see the limitation. So I will assign it to the object, same, never pure white, okay? And here you will see there is no transparent value, so we have to change the surface type. We have to say it will be a transparent object. Then it will use another algorithm to reach real time. And here now, to change your transparency, you have to go here in base map. Now there is an alpha, okay? So here you can change this transparency and your object become transparent. And here we see two problems. First, the shadow doesn't use this information. So that it's a big problem because we don't have ray tracing. So what we can do is reduce the density of the shadow with the sun. And the other problem, it's the transparency is not nice. It looks like transparency that we had 20 years ago. But when I was working on Maya with V-Ray, it was the same thing by default. You have to activate here the refraction model. So instead of none, you will put box, sphere, or thin. So actually this object looks more roundy. So I will select sphere. So now I have a transparent object, but yeah, it doesn't look great, still not look very great. So I will put a color here, and I need to probably adjust this transparency. So here I will change it, okay? So it's actually transparent, but we cannot see very well what there is behind. Two reasons. First, there is a smoothness, so it's like if the glass is glossy or not, okay? So I will say no, it's super strong smoothness, so super sharp refraction. Okay, still very weird. Why? Because when the light crosses this object, there is a lot of deformation, and that this is something that you can adjust with the index of refraction. Sorry. So here I will reduce it. This index is very high. It's more that glass. So what I will do, I will reduce it. If I put it to 0, it's like the air. And after progressively, you will see, you will have more or less deformation behind. Okay, perhaps I will put that gray. Okay, so here you can see the clouds. So you decide what you want, something like that. Okay, of course this object is round, so you have more deformation of the light. And if you put it super strong, like 2.4, this is actually a diamond. Diamond have this kind of refraction, sorry. Here, of course, the background is not very nice, so difficult to see, but here I could just create a cube. So I told you this object is small, so I need to reduce the size of the cube. I will put the cube here. Why not a sphere? Same, I will reduce same. And let's give some color to these two objects. So I don't rename my material, I just give one will be red, one will be blue. Okay. And now it should be a bit more interesting. Okay, yeah, we see the object behind. Now you go back to your glass and you adjust your index of refraction. Okay, so here it looks like the glass is pretty thin, and here the glass is like a bit thicker. You don't need to work with this thickness value, okay? Or this one is interesting if you have a texture. Okay, so that's all. So yeah, for the glass you understand the smoothness. If you make it low, it looks like your glass is a bit old, okay? And here you don't think, yeah, you can have, why not, a bit of metallic. Okay, so that's all for this lead shader. In another video, I will show you the lead shader graph. Why? Because here I created color texture, normal texture. But you see there is no possibility to create a metallic texture or smoothness texture. Actually there is. There is this mask map, okay? If I let the cursor on it, you see that this mask map actually will have in one map the information about the metallic texture, ambient occlusion texture, and smoothness. How it works, instead of loading a big image of ambient occlusion with red, green, blue, metallic texture with red, green, blue, smoothness with red, green, blue, there is no point because normally these textures are black and white. So instead of loading 3 or 4 textures with red, green, blue, we load only one. And what we will do in Photoshop is the red will be used for the metallic, the green for the ambient occlusion, the B for the detail mask, and the alpha for smoothness. So that it's best way to optimize your scene and loading less texture. But actually for this module we don't need to do that, so I will show you another shader. Thank you.